I'm Frank Bruno. I'm a low-key big hog from the Little Estate, Rhode Island.
Mandik here, low-key big hog, Scottsdale by way of Chicago IL.
Make him tremble from head to toe.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, and I got a very special shout out going out to my longtime fan and friend, Frank Bruno.
Random!
Hi, Carl. This is Danielle Monet, aka WWE Diva Summer Rae.
Yep.
Oh, are you getting the whiff of it? I'm smelling it. It's a waft. I'm wafting. I'm wafting in the scent of. No. I am wafting in the scent of, frankly, another Mandik Monday. Welcome on back. It's Mandik. It's Bruno.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
You on the screen.
Wearing my generic Titans thing as I always do.
And I'm not taking the socks off, hat off until they lose. Sacks off until they. Yeah, I think I just went like East Coast. I'm not gonna get jacked off or sacks off. Socks off. I'm not taking this thing off.
Socks.
So did you guys catch my ChatPack live on Monday? Yeah, I did. Carl turned into a Kennedy, which was cool. So that was neat.
Oh no.
At Frank Bruno 80, at Carl X Mandik, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find us live streaming right now. Frank, how's it been? How's life?
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked a little bit last week, but I will apologize to everybody. I was having some back problems and took a medication I don't normally take, and it caused me to sleep 17 hours on last Monday. And then I got myself the COVID vaccination, the second dose, on Tuesday, and was not right for the rest of the week. So I had a rough week last week.
I would say even the doctor I saw today said that her and her son and her husband said that the second go around, while painful, she said they all felt like
garbage. Yeah, it's
for a couple days.
Anybody out there? I got Pfizer. I've heard Moderna can be worse. I know one of our pals, Phil Jackson. He actually got the Johnson & Johnson one.
Oh, wow!
And he was down for like 3 days. And I haven't felt that ill in probably 20 years. High fever. No, I wouldn't say 20 years. I felt like I felt when I had the pneumonia like 7 years ago. I had a fever. I could barely move. But it's a crazy thing, dude, because I like woke up at like 7 a.m. I thought I was gonna die. At one point I passed out. I fell on the floor.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I got really dizzy right after I went to the bathroom, and I leaned up against the bathroom door. Next thing you know, I was on the floor. And the floor was so cold that I stayed there for like a half an hour to get my fever to go down. But as the day went on, I felt better.
Really?
Yeah. And then of course the next morning I woke up with what I thought was a tumor in my armpit. So I got the shot here. I went to the doctor because I was like, what the hell's going on? My lymph node was swollen out. It looked like I had another boob. And they're like, oh, nope, that's a side effect or a reactionary lymph node. So,
you know what? At least this is good. to know for a lot of our audience. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't think a lot of our audience has been through that type of thing where you've got, again, I've been cautionary just because probably the skeptical side of me. I mean, like, my stepdad says it's fine. My, stepmom says it's fine. They're both medically, inclined, but I've not gotten it. Like, I've gotten tested and it's like, okay, I'm negative. So it's like, what do I do here? I want to get it before, and I mean, something we're headed to is Jacksonville.
Well, I want to tell you this. Like, I had a good conversation this weekend. I had a session with Mrs. B, and she shared her opinion with me and stuff. And the thing about it is what's killer about this virus is that if you have any type of if you're compromised in some way,
Sure.
it's going to wreak havoc on you. But like for you, Carl, you're a genuinely healthy individual. If you were to get COVID, you'd probably be on your ass for a couple of weeks, but you'd recover. It's like my mom, my grandmother, my dad. It would probably kill them, and that's why I just wanted to be safe. And my parents just got the second dose today, so
good. That's awesome to hear.
So I mean, we just want to be safe. I understand people that this whole situation. You think about this when we're 80, we'll be able to talk about, oh God, remember back in the pandemic days? Like,
well, that's why, I urge those to talk to their, if they have grandparents that survived through the Great Depression. My grandmother did. Yep. And it was like, yeah, and you ask some questions about it, and the similarities it draws is kind of crazy, actually. On top of that, you learn from your elders from hard times. But I'm not talking about hard times today, baby.
Baby.
We're talking about some takes that are hottie. They're so toasty, baby. Baby, you want them in your mouth. You want those hot takes with Frank. And we're going to welcome in two friends of the ChatPack with it. Oh, baby, funky like a monkey. Give me some. Welcome on into Velocity. I'm Josh Matthews alongside. Let me try that again. Welcome on to Superstars. I'm Josh Matthews. No, I'm not Josh Matthews. But that is AJ Espinoza and that is RJ Krasinski. As we dive into a topic that normally we would stay away from. Normally it's one that we would avoid at all costs, but it's one that I caught on ESPN, and then AJ and I were talking about it beforehand, and there's two ways that you can put news out there, guys. There is when it's not to your dateline, so you're out of control of it. You have no control over the dateline or when that news is going to be released. Or option B, you have control over it. So there's two times to dump it. Friday, late, Monday, or Friday at 5, or Monday at 5 a.m. So get lost in kind of the cycle of headlines. And one of the cycle of headlines was that a Supreme Court will not be hearing the WWE cases against head injuries, concussions. It was on ESPN today. It was all over Bleacher Report, several other sites. RJ and AJ, thank you for joining us. RJ, I want to start with you because we exchanged texts. What was your initial takeaway from this?
Just the fact that I'm not too terribly surprised about this. You and I have chatted about this, but I personally am affected. I've had 2 concussions myself. I played high school football and college lacrosse. I remember one of the concussions. I don't remember the other. Just to get a peek behind the curtain, my first one was when I was, probably 16. Second one was when I was 19. And that's usually, they say, when you get that many, one back to back like that, it's not good. My first one, I don't remember. They thought I legitimately had a seizure.
Oh.
And
Wow.
I legitimately don't remember, probably give or take 10 hours.
That's scary.
Because make probably a short story longer, but what have you. I played, it was JV football. I was a starting receiver. I got a head-to-head collision from a corner, or I caught a pass and I got head-to-head, helmet to helmet.
Jesus.
Rang my bell. This is back in the day. We're all about the same age. And this is when, hey, you shook it off, you got back in there kind of thing.
Yep.
You put water on your face, wake you up, go ahead.
Yep.
So went through the whole game, had a headache, didn't really think anything of it. And this was October, so I went to go work a haunted house. And I had a mask on and I was sweating. Completely gone.
Man.
So pretty much it's like when the only thing I can compare it to was when you're drunk. You don't know where you are. You don't know.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
I woke up in basically it was scary because I woke up in a hospital bed with an IV in my arm because I was so dehydrated. I had a concussion, what have you.
Jesus Christ.
So it definitely hits home with me. It's sad. I just got done watching the Rowdy Piper doc, or that biography on A&E.
Oh,
and they talked
brutal.
about that. And I'll be honest, there's a figure behind me. It's back there, but it was the first figure I ever got was a Rowdy Piper figure. And it was a very emotional time for me because it was when I was watching wrestling. But now you get that era, and we saw the laundry list. There's the article that you sent me, Carl. There's a laundry list of guys there, guys from back in the day, guys from basically from the 80s and 90s going up to the 2000s.
Yep.
And it was legitimate, and you can't. That's something you can't mess with. And they try to, push it under the rug so as long as they can, and you just can't, because you see in a lot of these guys with brain injuries that are dying before they should, whether in their 40s, their 50s, or 60s. Nowadays, that's young.
Oh, well,
that's way. Like
insane. But like
Yeah.
you're 60. I'm referring like your 60s, 40s, obviously. But for me, anyways, because up until I moved out here, probably over the last 10 years, I still get headaches to the day. Like I legitimately get at least a headache a day. Yeah. Because and that's with two. Imagine some of these guys. You talk to guys like a Christian, guys like Edge, guys the older that type of generation.
Right. The chair shot generation.
Exactly. You're talking. They're getting concussions. They've probably Daniel Bryan is a prime example. He's getting concussion. I guarantee he's probably had 2 dozen that he knows of.
Easily.
Do you guys ever worry? Just throw a quick ancillary option B out there. Do you ever think it's worrisome for a talent to come up with a move that is so over, but yet one that they know that they're going to have to take eventually? And I go back to Edge and Christian with the concerto, to where they came up with it, and it's like, this is badass. To us, it was bad. It's like, but it's like, oh,
but it's not.
Take that at some point.
But it's not even the concerto. Frank. It's you're Frank. Excuse me, Carl. I was looking at Frank. Frank
We're
gets me all,
interchangeable.
Frank gets me all hot and bothered, so it gets me all.
Oh my!
This is late
Does
night,
your
right?
wife know?
Shh. But it's not even the concerto. Something as simple. You look at guys like the Dynamite Kid. That
it's true. Yeah.
the diving headbutt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. Yep.
Well, and we can eat. I'll bring it up. Chris Benoit. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I almost didn't
All
go
the
there.
impact
that
to
is a
his
classic.
head.
I'll bring it up. I'll be that guy. My Twitter's handle is right there. You can come DM me and yell at me if you want. But
I would
something
I'm
simple like
daring
that.
to, RJ. I'm daring to because Benoit is one that really shined a light on it for professional wrestling.
And by no means am I justifying anything, but that's a prime example.
Yeah, I mean, you think about going into the NFL, right? That was it. Mike Webster, Carl will be right back. Mike Webster was what started shining the light on the NFL, right? And I would highly recommend watching that movie Concussion. Or there's a really good documentary out there, guys, called Head Games. Chris Nowinski did it.
Yep.
Fantastic documentary. Benoit. He is the prime example, and I wanted to give my opinion on the because I read the article, and I have to be honest. Up until the Nowinski documentary and all of the studies and all this stuff, I really don't think back in the I wouldn't even say late 80s, the 80s and 90s, that we really knew. And for them to say that WWF knowingly put them out there and made them sustain concussions is like saying before steroids were illegal, WWF forced them to take steroids.
I'm sorry, AJ, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's that whole point of you kind of knew what you were signing up when you were going into the business. That was the norm at the time. You talk about football players. I mean, look back at the day like Junior Seau. There's a great documentary from him that ESPN did as well, and it's like talked about he had the headaches and everything, but that was part of the game. That was part of the life that you went through, and you knew that was. You got the headache, you got the stinger. Okay, you get back in. And for wrestlers at the time, that was how you made your job. That was your business. And the 90s really brought in the chair shots, and it's like, okay, take it. It really wasn't until Nowinski in those mid 2000s when this really got brought to life. And as at that point, maybe then you can start to argue and say, okay, now WWE knows about it. What are they doing with chair shots? Now they're aware of it. But at the time, 80s and 90s, you said, that was just part of the business. That was just expected. No one sit there and thought about it. Was like, if I take another chair shot to my head without putting my hand up, am I going to be okay tomorrow? Am I going to remember what I even did last night?
Well, but even if you put your hand up for in that aspect, it's really not.
It's still connecting in some way.
It's still connecting.
It's still connecting.
I want to also bring up these two guys in professional hockey. Eric Lindros.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And a hometown guy that I grew up watching, Pat LaFontaine.
Oh my gosh! I would say Paul. I would say
in Korea.
In Korea, yeah, I would say Korea from his head. Where I mean, you literally see the breath leave his body. It's like a spirit almost leaves his body onto the face mask,
and you just go limp. And it was that bad. And I remember the Lindros hit and the LaFontaine hit because it was a legitimate elbow to the head, and I compare it to a dog on ice, pretty much. You just all the legs go out, and you twirl around. And those two guys are specifically are retired because of head injuries, because of concussions.
You go in Chris Pronger, another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And you can pretty much go to any of these sports. Outside, obviously with baseball and basketball, it's not as prevalent. Outside of hockey and the contact sports,
even soccer, man. Like in that documentary they were talking about the headers they do with the ball.
Right.
They were getting concussed from headers I would have never thought that. Like, come on.
I took one in soccer and one in. I want to say I know I took one in hockey and I know I took one in soccer. Lacrosse is a little bit fuzzy because you can't really. I don't. Again, you're right. You're like drunk. You don't remember it. I know I got hit. I just don't remember a lot of. I know I kept playing. I just don't remember a lot of the afterwards. No, that could be bad memory. That could be a concussion. Like, some of the concussion symptoms that you need to be aware of, just FYI, if you ever think you do. Are you sleepy? Are you nauseous? Do you feel like you want to throw up? Dizziness, any of that, disorientation, all those are instamatic symptoms of having concussion. AJ, your initial takeaway and kind of question B with this, I'm going to saddle you with two and let the group kind of respond to this. Does this make, I know it's a different topic, and I know it was a likeness of image lawsuit, so we're dealing with something different, but it's like in lore it feels as if Jesse Ventura winning 860
thousands of dollars.
Yeah. It seems like the last time the WWE lost. At least it feels that way, anyways. Does that win? I don't know. It just got brought up recently, so I kind of throw that in there as a part B to the question A of what did this ruling mean to you, and then B, Jesse Ventura winning almost $1 million seems like a lifetime ago.
I mean, Jesse Ventura winning, it was ages ago, but even at that time, it was still being contested by the WWF at the time because, their lawyer, Jerry McDevitt, and them kept going at it. So, I mean, it was rare to win, but it made you think after that point they lost, they were probably like, we have to make sure that we have everything up to date with our legalese that you're signing, because I can imagine looking at a wrestler's contract nowadays, all the legalese that they have put in there. But when we're talking about this concussion lawsuit, it didn't surprise me the outcome of it because I just felt based upon the people going into it, Jesus. I just felt that there was not enough support forthcoming that the WWE actually knew. Because could they actually produce someone that was a part of the company at the time said, pal, they sure do know about what's going on with these heads. That's why they're not doing that anymore. And you didn't have enough strong enough person from the inside that could produce documents, that could say, yes, we were aware of this, but you know what? We were still having our talent, our superstars go out there and perform these vicious headshots to each other. Maybe if they had something like that, I could see them having a stronger grounds to go on. But it's at that time, it's like that was the environment. And then once WWE became aware of headshots and what the damage can be done to that, they have taken the necessary steps, through the help of Chris Nowinski, them to make that change. So you can't go and say, well, they were hiding, but now it's like, well, once they made aware of it, they made changes. So I think it was just hard for them to stand on without maybe more evidence from someone higher up that said, yeah, we knew, and I can go speak on the record regarding it.
And I think, RJ, the thing is Frank and I are on the side of stop scrubbing the chair shots from Peacock. We don't want to see that scrubbed. And then this comes down, and I'm like, okay, we probably got to talk about this. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, the timing of the two things.
Well, I certainly respect the changes that have been made, and I understand why the changes have been made.
Yep.
What I don't like, what I really don't like, are these networks trying to rewrite history, and that's what irritates me. Believe me, there needs to be a change, because I would prefer that my favorite sports athletes like a Derrick Henry and a AJ Brown can play till they're 40 because they haven't been concussed a couple times a season. or a wrestler like Daniel Bryan doesn't lose 3 years of his career because of concussions. I would prefer that. But, when I go back and watch Royal Rumble 99, one of the things I enjoyed about that was the fact that Mick Foley got decked in the head by a chair 11 times. That's just me. I was 19 at the time, and you don't need to take 8 of them out and try to rewrite history. And same thing goes to, it annoys me that the Piper and Bad News matches out of WrestleMania 6. That's a whole nother story. Or that's the thing I don't like. On the concussion side of things, change needed to happen, or
right?
shit
Isn't
was
that
getting
weird?
shut down.
I would say that's weird. Is that we are so Chris Nowitzki? I would say RJ, we're pro Chris, yet hate to say it, but we just don't want what we remember dismembered. I know that sounds like an ECW type of thing.
Yep.
I just think at this point, and I agree with what Frank is saying, but at the end of the day, and you guys all can agree with this, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is green. Because at the end of the day, they have to answer to a higher up. That person has to answer to a higher up person. Unfortunately, that's just the way the society is now. Unfortunately, whether it's football, whether it's professional wrestling, baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever. Is it right? No. But I think something had to be done because they didn't want to promote what they've done, even though all of us know all these chair shots that Mick Foley took, or these concertos that Edge and Christian did, or the Dudleys did, or whatever. But I think it's not going to end anytime soon. You're still probably going to see a lot of people, the people at Peacock or NBC or whatever. They have a lot of editing to do.
I just wish they would just put something in front, like, this was during a time when things were different. Now we have made changes. Just put some type of warning ahead of time if you want to. Like, I think we mentioned before, even Disney's taking some of their stuff, but they have put a warning behind, like, this is no longer in line with the current views. Just let you know. That would be so much better than trying to go through and edit everything and trying to change our perception for what we know what it is.
Frank, if you want to comment.
Well, so I'd have to say this, like, I think we've talked about this before on this show, but there's a moment in Survivor Series 05 where Vince McMahon uses the N-word. I totally get taking that out. It's a friggin' backstage vignette. It has no bearing on the show, but removing a match or taking out actions in a match that bugs me. And I don't think. It's really hard because there's that fine line. And
what I was getting to too was the Disney thing. Was the disclaimer in front of it of, hey, because that's something that you mentioned before that I again, with some of you with kids, sorry, now, do I watch Disney Plus? Yes, blank check. Or
Yeah, I've been watching. I watch it too. I've been watching the Winter Soldier and Falcon. So no, believe me,
blank check is unreal. First Kid, unreal.
Oh, yep. See, I liked both those movies. They're coming out with a new Cruella movie. I'll be all over that. Believe me, I'm.
Don't they have something on Disney for kids though? You were explaining that when you go into a selection, if you're with your daughter,
there's a disclaimer that so if because Callie and I have watched old cartoons before, and I think I can't even remember what cartoon it was and what even was racy about it, but it was just like the following program does not necessarily fit the views of the Disney company at this time, but is presented in its original form.
That's all you have to do.
Why? Well, right. I mean,
yeah.
Why can't they be like, hey guys, this was 1990, and this doesn't currently support the views of World Wrestling Entertainment at the current time. But hey, this was 31 years ago. Okay, that's that's what I'm talking. Like, I mean, think about it. Like, I gotta pay $10 to have Peacock. I gotta pay what $6 for Disney.
I'm with Andrew on this. Is that again the whole tiered business idea pops into my mind to say, hey, do you want to pay $21.99 per month for the uncensored? Yes, I do.
Well, isn't that the term premium? I mean,
Like,
make premium $15 a month. Like, what is HBO Max is $15 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They believe me. Some of the stuff I've been watching on HBO Max. Wow. There's some.
Wow.
There's some stuff on there. So like.
Wow.
I mean, these are pay services. I expect things to be edited on cable, but we're talking about pay services.
Are those movies that you watch at midnight, Frank?
Actually, it's 12:30.
Oh, okay. 12:35.
It's past bedtime.
So Genesis does have. I just want to. I would argue that Disney thinks, considering the dark subject matter, Disney has some of its earlier movies, shows, etc., and even now, in I'm sure some murky waters, Disney and Pixar can create countless contemporary movies where they always have a parent die or killed, yet pro wrestling gets hammered. It's BS. Wow. Actually, yeah.
Bambi, Lion King.
Wow. Yeah, I can't help but agree with that. Yes,
Adam for Bama.
Just a little bit there, he does.
Yeah,
Skinamax.
But this is an interesting one. Now that I think of it.
But this is the thing though. You can put all the disclaimers you want out there. You can litter every single movie, every single sporting event, every single whatever you want to. People are still going to find a way to get the original stuff and complain about it, no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. And it's just the way the society is, unfortunately. But you have to CYA every single time. And I get it. And stuff with, like, I grew up with it. We all did. With the Disneys in the early 90s, mid 90s. You know, you go watch a Tom and Jerry cartoon now. And you see certain things in there that aren't really the same today.
Yeah. I mean, even the Looney Tunes.
And you're not seeing a disclaimer on that. You know, so it's like, okay, what can we do? Because even if you put the disclaimer there, people are still going to complain about it.
Well, that's the thing. I've said this before too, and I don't want to open a Pandora's box, but I really feel like today's society has gotten overly sensitive. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've gone, like, remember back in like the 50s and 60s, be like, oh my God, homosexuality. Oh my God, sex. Oh my God, we don't marriage. No, we don't. Now everyone's loose when it comes to sex, but it's like,
that's what he said.
But it's like everything else is you got to like. There are times, like I've never been more afraid to say Merry Christmas to somebody, wondering if I'm going to offend them, or Happy Thanksgiving, or just people that want freedom of religion, or I'm afraid. And Brandy has taught me a lot about understanding the gender thing, but I'm sometimes afraid to say the term he or she. I'm afraid I'm going to get just railroaded, and I don't like living that way, and so it's but like
that's the tough part now with society and it is that way.
Like, because even sometimes I'll come on here and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I offended anybody," when I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not saying that men should rape women and things like that, because believe me, the culture and entertainment was bullshit, and the culture in wrestling and what some of these wrestlers have done, get them the hell out of here. They definitely lost their privilege. But yeah, I'm just afraid of. I'm tired of walking on eggshells, I guess I should say.
But so what you want to say is what the bleep? You're so lucky I have no American males or nobody running.
American males.
Wow.
American males.
Where'd you go?
I could sing it for you.
As we lose our female demographic, we were all offline, all trying to draft for our own team.
Oh,
now,
right.
if you don't know, we are going to end on at least a sports happy note, and if you want to get into this, you can, because a lot of these guys have been tracked since. So I read something from Mel Kiper in a book that he talked about how he starts his draft evaluation when they are a junior or senior in high school, not in college. So he's seen these guys through and through. This is a big week because this is the time that we can take. I mean, this is like Sandlot pickup. I mean, but on the grandest stage of them all. We all have picks by each other according to our fan base. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Are you,
what do you mean?
AJ, are you Raiders fan? San Francisco?
No, I am San Francisco.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, we got to sign you up for the Nashville trip then.
So, all right. So, Mac Jones, is that the guy?
From all indication, is Mac Jones, because why else would you make that trade when you did to move up to the number 3? You had to have an idea of who you were going after. You just don't trade up to number 3 and be like, well, let me see what Justin Fields can do. Let me see what Trey Lance can do. Now it gives you an opportunity to flirt with those other guys a little bit. You're like, well, let me go to their pro day. Let me see what they've got going on. But I think at the end of the day, Shanahan wants a quarterback that can be available, because that's Jimmy G's worst trait is his availability. He's not available to be there. Even though when he's been there, they have won games. It's most of the time it's because I'm not him. It's because of the running game. It's because of the system. And I think we need a quarterback that can at least be mobile, make the right reads, and just be there and be available. And also, I'm going to look at it like this too. Jimmy G's making what, 25, 26 million this year. We see the way the NFL's going now is you get that cheap quarterback in those first 4 to 5 years on that rookie deal. You build the rest of your team around you, spend that money, and hopefully you can make a Super Bowl and win it, because I think as RJ's coming up here with his team, once the quarterback is due money, you're going to have to start making some sacrifices.
Yeah.
RJ, what's I know for Aaron Rodgers, at least he had Mike McCarthy to give him injuries, so he wasn't that much. Like, that's the only. I know it sounds super messed up, but like Mike McCarthy, like injured Aaron Rodgers over and over and over again by making him scramble out of the pocket. And whether it was Anthony Barr, whether it didn't really matter who crushed his collarbone or his knee.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, Aaron Rodgers got the shit kicked out of him, and he still won a Super Bowl. I mean, so to me, it's like, okay, well, Mike McCarthy did one thing. He devalued Aaron Rodgers the first time around, but I don't think that's going to happen with Josh.
I hope not. I think at this point all the parts are in place as far as coaching, as far as ownership, and you go back, we'll say 5-10 years ago, that wasn't the case. You had a different quarterback every year. You had a different coach every year because the team was garbage. We saw this past year that Josh Allen, when he gets out of the pocket, he can do some stuff. However, sooner or later, they're going to figure out what to do, how to contain him, and them being the opponents. And he's going to have to become a pocket passer, or he's going to have a running back behind him where he can do one of these or one of these and make it easier for him. And I try not to give Frank Bruno too much credit with his team. But look at Tennessee. Seriously, this is a good thing, Frank.
All right. My dog is making her debut.
We'll shit on him later.
Oh, yeah. I'll crap on you later on the Zoom. Anyways, but with Chris Henry, or not Chris Henry, not Chris. Yeah, no,
Derek
Henry. I had the last name correct. Anyways, too many concussions. Too soon. Anyways, you see what they did with him. He got there behind DeMarco Murray. He learned the game. He learned the system. Yep. He had a couple of years there, and look at him now. He's legitimately the best running back in the league.
Yeah,
and that's what Buffalo needs. They haven't had a legitimate running back there since Thurman Thomas, and that goes back to when I started watching, and that goes back to the mid '90s, early '90s.
And the Super Bowl years, right?
Thurman
was there for the Super Bowl years, yeah.
Right, and you can make the argument. Okay, you had Marshawn Lynch, but Marshawn Lynch wasn't Marshawn Lynch in Buffalo like he was later on.
Yep.
Or you had Travis Henry coming from out of Tennessee. He never amounted to anything.
I will tell you this: he spent one good year in Tennessee with the Titans, and he was great.
Well, yeah, but as far as Buffalo, like,
oh, I got you. You're looking at your team, yeah.
Well, right. I'm making. It's always been a running joke in my family, and especially with the small group of Bills fans that we have in this area, is when you draft somebody, the Bills draft somebody, they'll go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl, or they'll go somewhere else and do well, but they'll never do well in Buffalo. That's why, like I said, that's why I want to see Buffalo and Frank and Carl and AJ, you guys know this, is I want them to go after get that Najee Harris from Alabama.
And Buddy saying that is the right pick. Najee Harris is indeed the best running back in college football. And if you haven't seen him, there he is.
Those cats that I was balling with, saying rap ain't finna get my ass a scholarship. And how come every teacher's motto is, music ain't gonna do for you what college did for me. That's the problem there, see baby, I ain't you on me. Tonight I'm gonna party with the people that believe.
Very athletic family. His parents tennis players. Dad played professional tennis. Gordon. Here's Najee Harris. Inside the 5. Inside the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Back on top with 10 minutes to go. Waddle working his way back. It seems like he might be available for the national championship game in 11 days. Hurdling is Harris. And now running down the sideline. And he's chopped out of bounds.
That's just unbelievable. First of all, it looked like he was going to lose yardage on the play. He bounces it outside and then instinctively goes right over McLeod and turns it into a huge.
All right.
That was unbelievable.
If you think that's okay. I'm gonna. Okay. If I had it, I would play it, and I don't. So I'm just going to play.
Oh my
God! I need Green Bay to draft a gadget player, a LaVisca Chenault, a Tyreek Hill, a Randall Cobb in the biggest way. And this guy, it might be Deshaun Jackson times 100.
And this for all those cats that I was balling with, saying rap ain't finna get my ass a scholarship. And how come every teacher's motto is, music ain't gonna do for you what college did for me. That's the problem there, see baby, I ain't you on me. Tonight I'm gonna party with the people that believe.
Wright made that last catch on the play, setting up a 3rd down and 9.
Over the middle, wide open, first down, and then some. Tony still on the move. The turbo kicking in. Tony TNT, touchdown Gators. We've been talking all day that this is one of their best playmakers, not named Kyle Pitts. Just get him the football, and he'll do the rest.
Pitts, 3 grabs on 5 targets so far. Little tunnel screen here set up for Tony. Tony, so electric, still on his feet. Kadarius Tony, how do you?
That is the nastiest play in college football.
Break your ankle play.
Year. That was 7 guys trying to tackle a human being. Green Bay. Come on. Guys, just give Aaron just something. Just a target.
You don't want a quarterback again?
Or some defense. Or some O-line.
I can tell you, I don't.
Yeah, I just cannot go through I don't think I've been through a worse sports moment than Jordan Love last year. And I can't hear you guys.
No, we're
because we're not talking.
Yeah.
They problem.
We're letting you have your moment about your Jordan Love draft last year.
Can you hear us, Carl? No, yeah. So I was going to say I can't say for sure who Tennessee is going to draft. What happened this offseason with the Titans is something I knew was going to happen. Is their payroll was lopsided, right? So they had a lot of payroll on the offensive side and not much on the defensive side. And then what happens is, they had the most putrid defense in the league. So what did they do? They got rid of all their high-priced guys. They let Corey Davis walk. They let, they let Jonnu Smith walk. And, they went out and they signed Bud Dupree. They signed some, who I'm really excited about is the Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
They went out and signed him. Yeah. And so now, are they going to go offensive line? Are they going to go a receiver because Corey Davis is gone? Are they going to go cornerback because they got rid of the hell's his name? Dory Jackson. It's just I don't know. Can you hear us, Carl?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
I would think they'd have to go receiver, to be honest with you.
Because
they need to take the who's the I can't think of his name now.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, you gotta take the looks away from him.
Well, and that's what Corey Davis was doing.
Yeah, even though he wasn't really getting the ball that much.
Up to being a top 10 pick, though.
Yeah,
Corey had a good year. This was that we didn't take his fifth year. So he went out there and actually was the receiver we wanted the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
He almost had 1,000 yards receiving. So he goes off and gets the big money from the Jets.
It's like contract year guy.
Yeah, good luck. But Brandy,
I know they had college sports in Alaska, right? Is it just like sled dog college or?
Oh,
too
Brandy.
Soon? She's gonna kill me. Anyways, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a slaughter.
Little fly fishing out there.
Oh my. Oh my.
Good. Good. Take the focus off. Thanks.
But like a guy like DK Metcalf is a guy that's like workout wonder that you go, how did he slip to the second round? Like, how did that?
But you gotta look at that draft though. When he was he drafted last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Derrick Henry slipped to the second round.
But you gotta look at those rounds or those drafts, because I guarantee you that draft, dude, they're looking at running back quarterback. I guarantee you, because you don't really see a lot of receivers go unless they're like a Calvin Johnson coming out of Georgia Tech going to the Lions. You know what I mean? And that's one of the, like I said, that's one of the reasons why when you look at Najee Davis, there's so many similarities to Derrick Henry, where he just has that upper body strength that he can either stiff arm your face off or run through you or juke you out of your freaking jockstrap.
I mean, Alabama's become the new tailback U. I mean,
Exactly.
maybe exclude Trent Richardson, but I mean, most of the other running backs, they've been really solid coming out of there now.
Yep.
Yeah, but, and then because you go back in the days, you go back to the days of Florida, Miami, when you had running backs like a Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, all those guys.
Frank Gore.
Exactly.
Who's
And
still
now-
playing, right?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, he's got like 15 kids, so he's got to feed them,
Oh my God.
That was one. That
I was
was
going to go
one.
more positive, trying to chase down the record, but all right.
by Friday, we will have a new My Mom is Rad because she watched the UFC pay-per-view this weekend.
Oh,
boy. And if anybody saw that, we saw a leg break. We saw a knockout. And we saw another absolutely horrific Usman knockout from that. And she took a great, not in their pain, but she saw the leg break and she goes, okay, I could do this, that, and that. I'm like, all right, we got to record this. So we will have a My Mom is Rad from the women's match and the two knockouts that stunned everybody. Or, well, actually, the women's match had the knockout. The leg break happened in a men's match. And then the Usman knockout.
The one takeaway I want to say, guys, anyone that has not seen the leg break, I know it's gruesome, but this is the only time that you are legitimately going to hear audibly a leg shatter. I've never heard anything like that in my life.
I'll say this much. I have a tolerance for all of that, and that one was gross. That's why I'm waiting for it, because I'm like, this is not the time to drop it. Yeah. When my mom saw it, my mom goes, that person could lose her leg. It was the first reaction she had, is that person could, that break is so bad. But no, getting back to it, I don't care what Green Bay does. I honestly don't. I don't, and I'll say this much. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Now, I just looked up, and there's a new line that Jordan Love to the Broncos is up on Vegas's line.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that is a new thing. I just
so Carl, check the comments, because Brandy has responded to what sports are in Alaska.
Oh shit.
Keep going. You gotta go. They're the last three.
We went from positive.
See, I told you, sled dogs.
Oh, the next one. The next one takes a shot at
Oh wow, Josh Norman, how you doing?
Yeah,
now?
that's one of the highlights of the year.
Get end up like Stephon Gilmore and go play for New England and do nothing.
Hey, at least he got paid.
Wow.
I was gonna say he's gotten paid.
I don't care. It's a shot in New England. I don't care.
Yeah,
So-
I'm with you on that.
Would you?
Oh yeah.
Would you prefer a Justin Fields over a Mac Jones?
It's tough because I've seen more of Justin Fields. Like, I feel like his athletic ability would fit well. But I can see Mac Jones, because looking at Alabama playing, even though I'm kind of worried because Alabama QBs, because Tua, not the strongest year last year, because anytime they get in trouble, it's like, let's bring in our closer, let's bring in Fitz. But I would prefer the more athletic, like a Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. I'm not too sold on Mac Jones, and I think most of the fan base is not either. Because just speaking to fans, even like my friends and stuff that are Niner fans, it's like, Mac Jones doesn't fit that quarterback. He's not that athletic, but he does make the right reads. So maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe Shanahan knows what he's doing. I mean, hopefully he doesn't do like he did with Atlanta in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
RJ, do you feel like he is going down that route? Because I feel like Mac Jones is extremely serviceable. Jay Cutler, yes.
I think
but worth the third pick.
I don't think he's worth the third pick. I think that he's going to be falling. He'll go in the first round, without a doubt. But with the right system, he'll be fine.
And that's why people are saying the Niners will take him because he fits it.
But you have to think long term, because you're thinking what, maybe 3 years? What? How long are the rookie deals? 3 years?
4 years with a fifth-year option.
Yeah. So you're thinking I don't think Jimmy G's going anywhere, because whatever quarterback, you're not going to be going right off the bat, because unless there is, an act of God that you have to. But you go in there, have Jimmy start the season. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think Josh Fields is the best option right now for San Francisco.
I do too. I think Fields is just so dynamic, and
he can do anything.
Feel like he can. I feel like he opens up a different level for that Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel type of offense. I feel like he opens it up. But maybe that's not what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Maybe they want to keep it to where it's tight end, running back, conservative. And if they want to do that, then the guy is Mac Jones. Mac Jones is Matt. He is Matt Ryan in literally in contextual form. He's Matt Ryan. So if you want to take the youngest Matt Ryan, then you got him. I mean that's what I believe in Mac Jones. I mean I believe you got Matt Ryan. But
I think the thing he wants is the quick read, because in Shanahan's office, it's quick reads. It's like you make your read, you scan the field, get it off quick. Because like you said, it's either getting to Ayuk, it's getting it to Deebo, to maybe on the end around, give it to Deebo. You got the Swiss Army knife and Juszczyk out there, who can receive and run as your fullback, which most teams would kill for a fullback like that can pass catch and do what he does. So I think Jones is the pick because it's more of the mind. Just because he's making quick reads, and you view his tapes at Alabama, he's getting the ball out quick, and he's making those quick decisions, and that's what I think.
You are so in on him. Quick reads.
I'm just behind myself in, but what I'm upset is it's your third overall pick, but what you gave up to move up to number 3, this year's first, 2 future firsts, you better hope this is the guy, because if not,
you're screwed.
Then we're screwed the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
We got Kittle, we got all these other guys, but if we don't have a quarterback that can throw them the ball
or can stay healthy,
we're going to be at the bottom of the NFC West.
But that's the thing. That division is getting better a lot, and it's not the division, because years ago, it was the San Francisco division years ago, and then it was Seattle.
Well, that division, I mean, think about it. They've got Kyler Murray and Russell.
Stafford.
They got 2 playoff teams.
Everybody got better. Honestly, and with all due respect to San Francisco, everybody got better in the division except San Francisco.
We just hope they have a healthy quarterback now.
But that's the thing, and you got to have that. You got to have you got to have the guy with a good head on his shoulders. First of all, I think that's the first thing. You have to be able to learn the system quick, because you're going to be getting thrown into the lines then pretty freaking quick in the NFL. And it's a hell of a lot faster than Alabama, the SEC, or Ohio State in the Big Ten or whatever.
I mean, ask guys like Johnny Manziel.
look how well it did for him. Where is he,
mean,
like Canadian football now or something?
I don't even know if he's playing
He's
anymore.
like
I always preface Marcus Mariota had some great years, but it caught up with him quickly.
He had a couple good there, but that's one of the reasons why I want the Bills to get a running back, because I don't want to see when they resign Josh. They should resign him next year or give him an extension. I don't want to see him running around.
No,
and have him get that broken leg like we saw at the in the UFC. He needs to become a pocket passer. He's a big dude. He can look. He has the mindset where he can scan the field and do this, do that, whatever. That's the one thing that they're missing right now. They're missing a few things.
And you know what? The one thing that the Bills have that I think a lot of people I root for in general, is you are the second, third team of the state.
Yep.
Maybe not even considered of the state of New York.
Even though we're the only one in the state.
Which is insane.
Because they play in New Jersey.
They play in New Jersey. Hear that, Rocco?
New Jersey. But yeah, it's
they ski in their jeans.
I've waited so long. I'm a lifelong Bills fan. I'm from Buffalo. I've been through the Super Bowl years. I grew up during the Super Bowl years. I couldn't tell you how many freaking quarterbacks I've gone through. And we got the guy. Give him his money because he deserves it. You got the money. Give it to him.
Would you rather have the interception captain or Josh Allen?
Talking about Jameis Winston?
No. Some guy that wears number 4.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
And the chat will be right back with you to all of the Wolfpack. Tomorrow, rewind wrestling time. For now, it's been FAMM. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun with RJ, AJ, and Frank, and myself, Carl X. Mandik. See you guys tomorrow.
I'm Frank Bruno. I'm a low-key big hog from the little estate, Rhode Island.
Mandik here, low-key big hog, Scottsdale by way of Chicago IL.
Make him tremble from head to toe.
Hey, this is Brett the